A strong hold over current affairs is your way to succeed in the UPSC Civil Services examination. Brace yourself and get detailed coverage of relevant news both nationally and internationally. With the monthly current affairs revision program starting from 26th October at 5 p.m. Enroll today and elevate your current affairs knowledge with comprehensive coverage of current affairs compiled through relevant sources such as the Hindu Indian Express, Economic Times, PIB Yojana, and others. Expert support and personalized mentoring. Comprehensive assessment through MCQs and mains-oriented questions.
Hello and welcome to this edition of News Today. Before we begin, we would like to take a moment to correct a few errors made in one of our recent news reports. In News Today, dated November 13th, 2024, in the news titled Niti Aayog CEO pitched for India's membership in RCEP and CPTPP, it was incorrectly mentioned that RCEP comprises of 10 ASEAN member states and its 6 free trade agreement partners including India. However, the correct information is that RCEP comprises of 10 ASEAN members and its 5 FTA partners, Australia, China, Japan, Korea, and New Zealand. Also, India initially joined negotiations but pulled out in 2019. Moreover, in the same news, there is a typographical error. CPTT should be read as CPTPP. Now coming back, let's have a look at the headlines first. Russia's president has approved a revised nuclear doctrine. India-Maldives ink pact for cross-border transactions in local currencies. Work from home in Indian context, CII and FMS joint study released. World Health Organization's report on climate change and health released at COP29. Climate and Clean Air Coalition and FAO published Global Nitrous Oxide Assessment Report. Ministry of Fisheries, Animal Husbandry and Dairying celebrated World Fisheries Day 2024. Let's look at the first news for the day. Russia's president has approved a revised nuclear doctrine, updating its 2020 nuclear doctrine, reaffirming nuclear weapons' role in deterring enemies and defining potential use scenarios. The nuclear doctrine, or ND, defines the purpose, development, and deployment of nuclear weapons, as well as their intended use. Key changes in the revised doctrine include an expanded definition of a nuclear attack. Now, any aggression against Russia by a non-nuclear state, supported by a nuclear state, is considered a joint attack, justifying nuclear retaliation. This explicitly targets countries that allows their territories to be used for aggression against Russia. Furthermore, the threshold for nuclear response has been lowered. The updated Russian ND has been expanded from defending the state's existence to protecting sovereignty and territorial integrity. Belarus has also been formally placed under Russia's nuclear umbrella. The revised doctrine introduces new risks that could trigger a nuclear response, such as the expansion of military coalitions, large-scale military exercises near Russia's borders, and the positioning of enemy military infrastructure closer to Russian territory. This shift in policy carries significant potential impact. One concern is an increased risk of nuclear escalation, particularly the possibility of tactical nuclear warfare. There is also the worry that this revised doctrine could weaken the non-proliferation regime. The revised doctrine may enhance difficulty in persuading states to abandon nuclear weapons programs. Additionally, Russia's lowered nuclear threshold and expanded definition of extreme circumstances could exacerbate distrust, particularly between Russia and the United States. Now, shifting focus to India, which has its own nuclear doctrine. India's policy, established in 2003, is centered on several key principles. Firstly, India follows a no first use policy, meaning it will not use nuclear weapons first. India also maintains a policy of credible minimum deterrence, according to which the country will maintain a minimum nuclear arsenal to deter potential aggressors. In the event of a nuclear attack, India promises massive retaliation. India's doctrine also places civilian leadership in charge. with the Nuclear Command Authority or NCA holding ultimate authority over nuclear weapons. Importantly, India's doctrine stipulates that nuclear weapons will not be used against non-nuclear states. In conclusion, as the nuclear doctrines evolve in major global powers like Russia and India, the potential for heightened tensions and increased arms races remains a significant concern. These changes could have far-reaching implications for global security, arms control, and the future of nuclear deterrence.
In a significant development, India and the Maldives have signed a memorandum of understanding to promote the use of local currencies for cross-border transactions. This agreement, made between the Reserve Bank of India or RBI and the Maldives Monetary Authority or MMA, aims to establish a framework for promoting the use of local currencies in trade and financial exchanges between the two countries. This move is part of India's broader efforts to internationalize the rupee and reduce its reliance on the US dollar in global transactions. Now, let's explore what the internationalization of a currency means. Currency internationalization is described as the international extension of a national currency's basic functions of serving as a unit of account, medium of exchange, and store of value. For example, India is promoting the rupee for current account transactions and foreign trade. The significance of internationalizing the rupee cannot be overstated. One major benefit is the reduction of counter-trade risks. Internationalization of rupee enables domestic firms to invoice and settle international trade in local currency, reducing exchange rate risks. Additionally, it provides broader financial access as domestic entities can tap into international markets as IR reduces cost of capital and expands financing options. Moreover, the internationalization of the rupee helps in reserve management, reducing the need to maintain large foreign exchange reserves and lowering associated costs and external vulnerabilities. However, there are also challenges to the internationalization of the rupee. In its initial stages, currency fluctuations could be significant. Moreover, there is a Triffin dilemma, where global currency supply obligations may conflict with domestic monetary control needs. Furthermore, unrestricted cross-border capital flows could expose India to international economic shocks. Despite these challenges, India has already taken significant steps towards the internationalization of the rupee. For instance, the RBI has allowed invoicing and payments for international trade in Indian rupee. To further promote the rupee as international currency, the special rupee Vostro account system has been established. India has also signed currency swap agreements with several countries, including Japan, Sri Lanka, and Bhutan. In conclusion, this new agreement with the Maldives marks a step forward in India's plan to enhance the global role of the rupee, benefiting both economies by reducing reliance on the US dollar and providing greater financial stability.
In our next news, we will dive into an insightful study jointly released by the Confederation of Indian Industry or CII and the Faculty of Management Studies or FMS, which explores the cost-benefit analysis of work from home or WFH in the Indian context. Let's break it down. Starting with the benefits. At the organizational level, WFH has shown remarkable advantages. Companies have achieved savings of over 25% in office rental costs, travel expenses for meetings with clients, employees, and related expenditures. Moreover, reduced commutation stress has led to higher employee productivity and energy level, etc. On the micro-environmental front, work from home has contributed to a reduction in carbon footprints, aligning with the ESG or environment, social and governance goals of organizations. It has also facilitated the hiring of talent from spatially distant locations, widening the talent pool. Moving to the employee level, the perks include significant savings in commuting time and costs, along with the flexibility to reside in more affordable peripheral areas. Additionally, work from home has enhanced family relationships, strengthening kinship ties, and is also beneficial for parents with young children and caregivers, resulting in an improved work-life balance, etc. However, every coin has two sides. At the organizational level, work from home has posed challenges such as less effective communication, impacting teamwork and hindering the development and sustenance of a strong organizational culture. For employees, the challenges include frequent disruptions at home and a lack of dedicated, undisturbed workspaces, which have led to increased stress levels. At the family level, there are some concerning trends. Instances of domestic violence have reportedly increased, and the pressure on women has risen as they juggle professional and domestic responsibilities. So, where do we go from here? The study suggests a hybrid work model as the way forward, where employees are expected to come to the office on certain days in a week. This approach aims to optimally combine the advantages of face-to-face interactions with the benefits of work from home. In conclusion, while work from home brings several benefits, it also presents significant challenges. A hybrid model may offer the optimal balance to meet both organizational and employee needs.
Moving on to the next news, at the ongoing COP29 summit, the World Health Organization or WHO has released a crucial report focusing on the impact of climate change on health. This report emphasizes the critical role of health in advocating for climate action, highlighting the interconnectedness of people, places, and the planet. The direct impacts of climate change on human health are already being felt, and they are more concerning than ever. For instance, non-communicable diseases or NCDs are a major concern, as climate change and air pollution combined are responsible for 85% of NCD-related deaths. Moreover, heat stress has become increasingly prevalent, with people experiencing 50 more days of health-threatening heat in 2023 alone, a clear consequence of rising global temperatures driven by climate change. In addition to this, climate change is having a severe impact on maternal and reproductive health, leading to preterm births, low birth weight, maternal deaths, and decreased fertility. Beyond these direct impacts, there are also indirect effects that cannot be ignored. Climate change exacerbates issues such as poverty, marginalization, and food and water insecurity, while also contributing to an increase in conflicts and migration. For example, in 2023, 20.3 million people were displaced due to weather-related disasters, compounding the challenges posed to both health and social stability. In light of these alarming findings, the WHO has put forward several key recommendations. First, it suggests adopting a One Health approach, which links human, animal, and ecosystem health to tackle the broader impacts of climate change. The report also calls for a transition from extractive economic systems to a circular economy. In addition, the WHO stresses the importance of ensuring substantial funding for the new Collective Quantified Goal or NCQG on climate finance and the Loss and Damage Fund aimed at supporting countries most vulnerable to climate-related health impacts. Furthermore, the WHO urges governments to integrate health into national climate action plans, such as Nationally Determined Contributions or NCDs and National Action Plans or NAPs, to ensure that health is prioritized in climate policies. India, for its part, has already taken significant steps towards addressing these issues. The Ministry of Health and Family Welfare has launched the National Program on Climate Change and Human Health, while the Department of Science and Technology supports the Network on Climate Change and Health. In conclusion, the WHO's report sends a clear message. Urgent and coordinated global action is needed to address the growing health risks associated with climate change. Failure to take immediate action will only lead to more severe health consequences for millions of people worldwide. Moving on, the Climate and Clean Air Coalition or CCAC, in collaboration with the Food and Agriculture Organization or FAO, has released the Global Nitrous Oxide Assessment Report. Launched at the UN COP29 in Baku, Azerbaijan, this report is the first international report focused solely on nitrous oxide in more than a decade. Let's now look at the key findings of the report. First, the report warns that if nitrous oxide emissions continue to increase at the current rate, there would be no plausible pathway to limiting global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius, a key target in global climate action. The current share of nitrous oxide emissions is 0.1 degrees Celsius. Since 1980, anthropogenic emissions of nitrous oxide have risen by 40%, with 75% of these emissions coming from the agricultural use of synthetic fertilizers and manure. Furthermore, the report highlights that nitrous oxide is a leading ozone-depleting substance which increases harmful UV exposure, contributing to higher risks of cataracts by 0.2% to 0.8% and skin cancer by 2% to 10%. To address these challenges, the report suggests several measures that can help reduce nitrous oxide emissions. Firstly, in the agricultural sector, the use of enhanced efficiency fertilizers, nitrification inhibitors, and slow-release formulations can help significantly lower emissions. Secondly, in industry, thermal destruction or catalytic processes can achieve 90 to 99% efficiency in treating emissions from adipic acid used in synthetic fibers, foam, etc., and nitric acid used in fertilizer production. Thirdly, the report stresses the importance of reducing fossil fuel use. Switching to renewable resources in sectors like transportation and energy production could play a key role in reducing overall emissions. In addition, the management of manure is critical. By balancing nutrient inputs in animal feed, reducing grazing intensity, and implementing anaerobic digestion of manure, significant reductions in emissions could be achieved. Lastly, the report suggests the adoption of multilateral options. For instance, the Gothenburg Protocol sets targets on ammonia and nitrogen oxides under the Convention on Long-Range Transboundary Air Pollution, which could help curb emissions on a global scale. Now, let's take a closer look at nitrous oxide itself. It is a long-lived greenhouse gas approximately 270 times more powerful than carbon dioxide and has an atmospheric lifetime of about 114 years. Nitrous oxide is produced naturally through microbial activity in soils and oceans, but a significant portion also comes from anthropogenic sources such as fertilizers and wastewater. Commonly referred to as laughing gas, nitrous oxide is an inorganic gas that is clear, colorless, and odorless. It is soluble in water and its vapors are heavier than air, making it a significant and unique contributor to global warming. The Climate and Clean Air Coalition, founded in 2012 and convened within UNEP, is a voluntary partnership of more than 160 governments, intergovernmental organizations, and NGOs. India joined the CCAC in 2019. The coalition works towards reducing short-lived climate pollutants like nitrous oxide, which drive both climate change and air pollution. In conclusion, the findings of this report make it clear that immediate and sustained efforts are needed to address nitrous oxide emissions. If these actions are implemented effectively, they can significantly contribute to both mitigating climate change and protecting public health.
World Fisheries Day 2024 marks a focus on the theme India's Blue Transformation, Strengthening Small-Scale and Sustainable Fisheries, underscoring the nation's dedication to fostering a sustainable and inclusive fisheries sector. Let's dive straight into the key initiatives unveiled on this occasion. India has launched the 5th Marine Fisheries Census, aimed at driving data-based policy making. Additionally, the National Plan of Action on Sharks has been introduced to promote sustainable shark management practices. In a collaborative effort to combat illegal, unreported, and unregulated or IUU fishing, India has endorsed the Regional Plan of Action on IUU fishing for the Bay of Bengal region in cooperation with Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, and Maldives. Moving on to marine conservation, the IMO FAO Glow Litter Partnership Project has been adopted to tackle the growing menace of marine plastic litter. Another notable step is the release of standard operating procedures for retrofitted LPG kits, aimed at promoting energy-efficient, low-cost marine fishing fuels. In addition, the Coastal Aquaculture Authority has introduced a new single-window system to streamline the online registration process for aquaculture farms, making it more accessible and efficient. Celebrating excellence, Kerala has been awarded the title of Best Marine State, while Telangana has been recognized as the Best Inland State for their contributions to fisheries development. Now, let's explore the broader significance of the fisheries sector in India. This sector provides livelihoods to nearly 3 crore fishers and fish farmers and generates substantial employment across the value chain. Fish, being a nutritious and affordable source of animal protein, is one of the healthiest options to mitigate hunger and nutrient deficiency. Economically, fish production contributes around 1% to India's GDP and over 5% to agricultural GDP, according to FAO 2018 data. Looking at India's global standing, the country is the second largest fish producer in the world, accounting for 8% of global output. India also ranks second in aquaculture production and leads in shrimp production and export, while being one of the largest producers in capture fisheries. To sustain this momentum, several government initiatives are in place. These include the Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana or PMSSY, the Pradhan Mantri Matsya Kisan Samriddhi Sahay Yojana or PMKSY, and the Fisheries Infrastructure Development Fund or FIDF, designed to boost growth in the sector. The National Fisheries Development Board, established in 2006 under the Ministry of Fisheries, Animal Husbandry and Dairying, plays a vital role in driving these efforts. In conclusion, the World Fisheries Day 2024 highlights India's strides towards sustainable fisheries management and the significant impact of this sector on the economy, nutrition, and livelihoods. With these initiatives, India is charting a path towards a blue transformation that benefits both the environment and its people.
In today's Place in News, we turn our focus to Antigua and Barbuda with its capital, St. John's. In recent diplomatic developments, the Prime Minister of India met with the Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda on the sidelines of the second India CARICOM summit in Georgetown, Guyana. This meeting marks a significant step in strengthening ties between India and the Caribbean island nation. Let's take a look at the political features of Antigua and Barbuda. It's located in the Caribbean, specifically in the Lesser Antilles in the Eastern Caribbean Sea. The island is bordered by several nations and territories. To the northwest, it shares maritime boundaries with Anguilla in the United Kingdom and Saint Barthélemy in France. To the west, it lies near the Federation of Saint Kitts and Nevis, while to the southwest, it is close to Montserrat, part of the United Kingdom. Finally, to the southeast, the island is bordered by Guadeloupe, a French region. Geographically, Antigua has an intricate coastline with bays and headlands, all surrounded by reefs and shoals, adding to its natural beauty. The highest point of the island is Mount Obama. For broader context, the Caribbean islands, also known as the West Indies, are located in the Atlantic Ocean, southeast of Florida, east of Central America, and north of South America. The Caribbean contains the islands of the Greater Antilles in the northwest, as well as the Lesser Antilles Islands in the southeast.
As we conclude today's main news, let's have a look at some quick updates. Recently, the International Criminal Court, or ICC, issued arrest warrants against the Israeli Prime Minister and a Hamas leader for their alleged war crimes in the Gaza conflict. The ICC is the first international permanent court established to investigate and prosecute individuals accused of committing war crimes, genocide, crimes against humanity, and crimes of aggression. India's Defense Minister met the US Secretary of Defense on the sidelines of the 11th ADMM Plus at Vientiane, Lao PDR. ADMM Plus comprises 10 ASEAN member states and 8 dialogue partners: Australia, China, India, Japan, New Zealand, the Republic of Korea, Russia, and the US. The journey of ADMM Plus began with its inaugural meeting in Hanoi, Vietnam, back in 2010. Union Minister of Science and Technology has inaugurated the Viksit Bharat Initiative for Students' Innovation and Outreach Network, or Vision Portal. The portal aims to nurture education, skill development, and innovation among underprivileged children. It acts as a gateway for children in remote areas to access mentorship and training opportunities. Recently, scientists found evidence that desertification leads to large amounts of nutrient-rich dust landing in the Indian Ocean, southeast of Madagascar, causing phytoplankton algae blooms. Phytoplankton are microscopic, single-celled plants that live in the ocean. They regulate the carbon sink and the food chain in the ocean. The National Security Council Secretariat or NSCS, in collaboration with Rashtriya Raksha University or RRU, inaugurated Bharat National Cyber Security Exercise or Bharat NCX 2024. NSCS serves as the apex body for all matters concerning internal and external security. Bharat NCX 2024 aims to strengthen India's cybersecurity resilience by training cybersecurity professionals and leaders to tackle evolving threats. ISRO and Australian Space Agency or ASA have signed an implementation agreement or IA to enhance collaboration on space activities between India and Australia. Implementation agreement enables cooperation between both space agencies on crew and crew module recovery for Gaganyaan missions. It supports Australia's role in search and rescue operations and crew module recovery, particularly if an emergency abort during the ascent phase occurs near Australian waters. Indian researchers have developed peptide-based adjustable piezo-responsive nanomaterials or PN, which can aid in energy harvesting and bio-device applications. Piezo-responsive nanomaterials or PN change their physical properties such as electrical resistance when subjected to mechanical stress. This unique ability allows them to generate an electric charge when pressure is applied. An archaeological discovery attributed to the megalithic period has been made in Kerala's Kasaragod, featuring rock-cut carvings created with iron tools. These carvings include depictions of human figures representing both children and adults. The megalithic culture period belongs to the Iron Age, 1500 BC to 500 BC. Megaliths refer to the burials made of large stones in graveyards, categorized into polylithic and monolithic. Before we sign off, let's challenge your understanding in today's installment of Test Your Learning. Thank you for joining us. We hope you found this episode of News Today engaging. For the solutions to the quiz and to access the PDF version of News Today, remember to visit the provided links in the description below.